guys. We are here for, I think this is our 4th Love Fast broadcast. And I started this series where I was like, oh, I gotta like have makeup on and I have to have lighting and like I have to, look appropriate from here up. Well, by the 4th round, you guys get more of me. And so to true form, am wearing my year-round Christmas pajamas, no makeup, and glasses, no lighting, because this is me, very low maintenance, and this just makes me comfortable for conversation. So I'm so glad you're here. I'm going to invite my girl, Allie. Hello. I'm going to make sure Allie is able to join us tonight. You guys are going to love her. I said Allie, Ellie. I'm sorry. This is also my brain at 9 o'clock at night. All right, let me see. How can I did this earlier when I added my people. Hold on. Hello. Okay, let's see. Ellie, I'm going to add you. Okay, so Ellie is a friend of mine that I met at the book proposal boot camp that I did, kind of interning under Lisa Tierkers last semester. Now, I kind of gave you the rundown on that if you had been following along. Hey guys, thanks for joining. We're about to start with our interview with Ellie. But Ellie was in my group, so they chose 100 people out of all these applicants. Hey Ellie. All right, let me add you in, girlfriend. And then, why can't I do this? What is going on with me? Go into a live room. I don't need a room. Why is this so hard for me this time? Typically, I've been able to just add somebody. Did I update? Oh, here we go. Thanks, friend. Go live with Ellie. She's so much cooler and up to times than me. See if this works, and I'll explain to you how I know this wonderful lady and how I know you're going to be like, hey!
Hi.
Okay, so first of all, I was rambling, panicking because I couldn't get you on. For some reason, the little button that's invite a friend. But it might be user error. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I'm good. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you look beautiful.
Thank you.
Oh, I miss our Zooms.
I know. It's weird. We're finally seeing each other virtually again, because that's the only way we know each other, which is weird. I mean,
I know.
we talk and whatnot, but not in the same room.
I know, it's weird. I was just telling the people who are listening in, I was like, hey, Ellie is somebody that I met at this book proposal boot camp with Lisa Tierkers, and it was amazing. We had this group of, 12 amazing people, and we would Zoom and discuss all these ideas, and it was amazing. But something stuck out to me about you, Ellie, and it was your just passion for being honest. First of all, I loved how real and authentic you are. Now, granted, I don't know you in real life, but I feel like I do.
Well, thank you. Yes.
Well enough where it's not just hey, I Instagram stalk you, but hey, I've seen your heart and I've seen you walk through grief, even in that 10-week period that we were in. Yeah. So I can't wait to dive more into that, because I know that a lot of people will relate and will be blessed by your strength. But here's Ellie. Yay!
Thank you so much for saying that.
So, I will jump right in, because I don't want to tell your story for you. Everyone kind of knows a little bit about you.
Yeah.
So my first question for you, my friend, is your love story with God, how it started, how it, the progress of where God has you and how it's currently going. Just a little bit about your story.
Yeah, for sure. Well, first of all, thank you for having me.
Yeah.
And yeah, I would say really so much of my story, especially my relationship with Jesus, started because of my mom, just the example of my mom. Her name's Jane, and she actually became a believer because she was told she couldn't have kids. And so she calls me and my sister her miracle babies. So when we were younger, we really just saw the example of what it was like for her to not just believe that she was a Christian because of traditions, but instead to really find what a walk with the Lord is and understand that it really is a relationship. And so when I was little, I think she really just fostered that environment of prayer, of reading Bible stories, of worship music. I was just, my sister and I were talking about it just not very long ago. She used to even do like, she'd like make her hands in a basket and tell us to put the things that we cared about, even as little kids, in a basket so we could give them to God. And so we called them our basket prayers now, me and my sister. And it just really was that example that was constantly around. And we were just more than anything exposed to what it was like to live a life walking with Jesus. And she would be the first to admit that she was learning as she went, just as much as we were. So I think it was really just watching her and observing her. And I actually wrote about this in my book proposal. But I remember distinctly the day I accepted Jesus into my heart, because I am a dancer, was dancing around listening to a way old album of Mercy Me called Almost There.
Okay,
And
okay.
yeah, like way back there. And
Yeah.
I think I Can Only Imagine comes from that album, I think. Um,
Oh, that was like, because I'm older than you by like a year at most, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
I remember that coming out, and I don't know if I was in middle school or high school, but it was like the song. Amazing.
100%, 100%. So, we lived at the time in this really tiny apartment. We were renovating our house, and we just always had worship music on and would dance, like dance till
Mhm.
we could barely breathe. And I remember like dancing to all these songs and then falling down and laying down on the ground. And it's a song that wasn't really popular, at least to my knowledge, on that album. But the lyrics say, teach me to think how you think. Um, Show me the things that are true. Finish the work that you have started in me, because I'm on my way to you. And I remember like laying down out of breath after dancing so much and taking that in. I was in the third grade. Um, and really just remember thinking like, yeah, that's what I want. It's not just some family tradition. It's not something that I just see, but it's something I want. And so I remember running to my mom in her bedroom and telling her, like, I want to know Jesus like you know Jesus. I want to understand what that's really like. And so we literally got on our knees at the end of her.
I think, is it me that's frozen? Hmm. Can't hear you. Hmm. I'm not sure if you guys can hear me. I cannot hear you, Ellie. Is it me on my end? Okay, so thank you, Darlene, for letting me know. Ellie just texted me and said that it cut her out, but I still hear her the audio from her. So I'm wondering if maybe I will remove her and then add her back in. You know what I mean? So here we go. All right, send another request. Go live with Ellie. Thanks for your patience, guys. This is real life, live. This is what happens. But man, I was on the edge of my seat learning about her salvation. Hey, are you back?
Yes, we're going to
Okay.
try this again.
No, it was
Sorry about
wonderful.
that.
I was like on the edge of my seat, but then it was like slow words. So go for it.
Okay, okay. Um, Hopefully you can hear me now. I don't
Yeah,
know really where it cut out.
that's good.
But yeah, we just like we used to dance all the time.
Yeah.
And we were listening to this Mercy Me album, and I remember like
Mhm.
dancing until I could barely breathe. So
Yeah.
I laid down on the floor and was listening to this verse that Mercy Me sang, which was teach me to think how you think, show me the
Mhm.
ways that are true, finish the work you have started in me, because I'm on my way to you. And for the first time, that was just so real to me. It wasn't a family tradition. It wasn't something that I just thought I might believe, but it became like a desire of my heart. So I went and ran into my mom in her room, and we just folded our hands and got on our knees at the end of her bed, and just prayed that the Lord would be invited into my heart, that I would know him the way that she knew him. Because that was just my biggest thing, is I knew that her life was different than mine was. And so really like got on my knees, and from that moment accepted Christ. And I remember like being so excited and wanted to call my dad. And it was just like this joy thing that I just knew my life was going to be different from that point forward. And so like everyone, I think that salvation is that moment where you find the freedom, and then the sanctification takes a while, and there's a lot of things that you learn. And I think becoming a believer so early was so great for me in so many ways. It certainly gave me freedom and understanding of who I really was, despite what maybe friends at school or social media even at the time would tell me. But it also kind of made me feel a little different than a lot of people. But I think I just watched the example of my mom and her friends and the way that they lived their lives. And it really became not just an idea, just absolutely my identity, if that makes sense. So I, have just been a believer really since then. And I think have had ups and downs for sure. And I mean, Laura, actually more of my story, but my mom was diagnosed with a really rare and aggressive form of lung cancer, which was really out of the blue. And she never smoked, never anything like that. And that became another kind of cry in my heart, that I just believed that the work that he started, he was going to finish. Ultimately, she went home to be with Jesus almost 2 years ago, but I would say she still is absolutely 100% like my greatest example of what it looks like to walk with Jesus.
I love that. And you're right. Like, that is something that you were vulnerable enough to share with our group. But every single time I hear that, I just, you know how you've probably heard like it's okay to be sad or to grieve, but hearing even your testimony, I just see the strength of Jesus like through you. And it's just a testimony of, in the process of grief, like there's zero explanation of you or anyone really who loses a loved one to carry on except because of Christ in them. And I just think how in the world could there be any other solution but that? So thank you for sharing that.
Thank you. I agree. I mean, it's one of those things that, I mean, scripture tells us that we grieve, but we grieve with hope. And I definitely, for sure, I will not be the one that says like, I just know she's with Jesus, so it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. There are days when it's absolutely not like whatsoever. And I just want my mom. But I think that example of like, I know that she's in heaven with Jesus, and I know that one day I will be there too. And sometimes that's the only thing I can hold on to for a day. But that is the hope that we have as believers, that this is not home and this is not the end.
That's amazing. So true, and so hard for somebody to even understand until you've walked through it. And I know, and I trust that you sharing that is going to hit home with somebody, and they're going to say, wow, like I needed to hear that, because maybe somebody feels very alone in the midst of their loss.
Right. And I think that's just been even true of this last year. So many of our fears or our grief looks different. 2020 was a year where everyone lost a lot, or kind of as a world we were grieving. And I think that's, my heart has been so heavy, because it really, I can't imagine what it's like to feel that hopelessness without having some sort of faith in anything else. And to know that our faith is in a person and work of Jesus, and an event of him resurrecting on the cross, you know? And that's a hope we can live for.
Absolutely. And it's one that you can't explain until you know, until you have that feeling and that real relationship.
Yeah, 100%.
I want to know how, Ellie, not just with your beautiful words to paper, because they are beautiful, I've read them. You have such a gift. but also like how you put love into action in real life in the midst of you working full time and balancing all life's responsibilities. You know, your stage of life, you are pulled probably, I know I was, in 1 million directions, as we all
Yeah.
are. But how
Yeah.
do you, in the midst of that, put love into action in a practical sense that could make it easy for someone else to say, I can do that. I can love others like Jesus loves people.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's such a great question. I think we can get really distracted by what love looks like in the everyday.
Yeah.
And I think the example, honestly, my mom set for me, and then it's one that I think we see in scripture too, is just really, which fits, is so fitting with your work and your book, which is to like live slow. I think loving slow
Mhm.
is true
Mhm.
too. I think really one of the greatest ways we can love people is to listen. I think that's a really simple, approachable, easy way that you can do with anyone
Mhm.
around you. It says in, you know, the famous Corinthians love verse, like love is patient.
Mhm.
And I think we would equate patience and usually slow
Yeah.
together. And there are a lot of times in which Jesus was not in a hurry. He was not in a rush. I mean, even when he heard
Mhm.
that his dear friend Lazarus was dying or dead, he didn't rush
Yeah.
and jump off to the rescue, which I probably would have wanted him to, but he
Yeah.
stayed. He wasn't in a rush. And so I think one of the things that I saw so clearly with my mom, and one of the ways that I try to love people well, is
Mhm.
just to simply pause and listen.
Mhm.
Because I think so many people, just in the rush of the overload of information we're constantly getting, or like you said, the
Mhm.
rush of schedules, like everyone is busy with 18 different things on their to-do list, and that's just the high priority ones. Like there's really 34 other ones that they need
Yeah.
to get to.
Yes.
But the more that you can sit with people and really have a conversation, to listen and understand what they really need, and then beyond that, just to take that love into prayer. I think one
Mhm.
of the things I
Mhm.
learned the most, especially in walking with my mom through cancer, is um, prayer is an action, not a reaction. Like I think we're really quick to say
Mhm.
like, I'll be praying for you, but to actually take the action of like, even if it's 4 words, like I pray for Laura's schedule, you
Mhm.
know, that's something that matters. And
Wow.
it honestly is loving a person well, because it's an honor to take someone else's name to the throne.
Mhm.
And so I think the more that we sit with people and get a little bit slower as to what's really grieving them, what's really changing them, we learn a lot about each other. And that's, I think that intentionality is how we would love people really well.
Girl, yes, just 4 little words by like saying somebody's name. Sometimes I think I can't, like I'll say, oh, I'll pray for that. And so I think it has to be, or I feel like the right thing to do is like sit at my journal and have a moment, light a candle and be like, dear God, I pray for Abby, for da da da. And like if I don't pray lengthy enough, then it's not intentional enough. And will God really hear it? But like every effort we make towards listening to their need and bringing it to God, even in like, well, I'm walking out the front door, fussing at my kids to get their seatbelts on. Like I could have this thought come in my mind. I don't have to reserve it for a special time. I could give it to God in that moment. And that's loving people. That's
Absolutely.
so powerful.
Absolutely. I remember hearing one time someone saying, because I think kind of what goes along with that is like, just as things come to mind, like you said, really praying for
Mhm.
people. I remember, I forget who it was, but I was listening to a sermon. They were like, you know, there are people on this earth who may never ever be prayed for
Mm.
because they just didn't grow up in, you know, a home maybe where that was a priority, or um, so I like, even sometimes when I see people on the street, and instead of me being distracted by my schedule or like what's next or what I'm running off to, or if there's traffic, like it might be just seeing someone who's homeless on the side of the road and say, I don't know his name, but Lord, he is yours. He is much a child of God as I am a child of yours. And even if he doesn't know you, you know him intimately. And I just want you to be with him today. I don't have a single idea about what his story is, what he's been through,
Mhm.
or but it may be the one and only time he's going to be prayed for. I mean, I don't
Mhm.
know that for sure. And I
Mhm.
think like, just like you said, just like even those simple short moments make a huge
Mhm.
difference.
I tend to overcomplicate it and I'll say, okay, I'm gonna put that on my list. I have a terrible memory. I think I have a problem. I have zero like short-term memory. At 8:55, I was like, it's almost 9 o'clock. I gotta go get my phone ready, and that's why I'm wearing my Santa Claus PJs right now. So, like it's really bad. Obviously, I've been texting you all day, and I'm like, I knew this was coming, but my memory is I'm distracted. So it's a beautiful thing to instantly love fast in the sense of let it be a natural reflex in your body to just lift up a prayer for somebody, to listen to what they might need or to be aware of it. So what a practical, realistic way to put love into action. I love that. That's so cool. I've learned so much from these broadcasts. I'm like, my friends are so smart. Okay, I told you that the third question would be a little fun. And it is about your puppy.
Oh my gosh.
I know, right? I fell in love with you, one, because of just in general you, but also when you told me that your dog was Instagram famous, I was like, what does that mean? I was like, what, her dog? And legit. Okay, can you quickly tell me the hashtag for your golden retriever's name?
Yes. So her name
is hilarious. Is that okay that I'm even asking you that?
Absolutely. I could literally talk about her all day long, Laura. Like, you don't understand. If you could see like the text thread or the Snapchat thread between me and my sister, you would think she was a real person, which she kind of is. So her name is Little Miss Annie B. She has so much personality. It's unreal. She absolutely does not think she's a dog. Like, we go on walks and she does not care that there are other dogs approaching her. She goes straight to the humans. I literally say like she's a people person because she's not even like a people pet. Like, she 100% like believes in cuddling on the couch, or like, she's so fun. Like, she has the biggest FOMO. Like, if you are sitting next to her, she'll start to fall asleep and realize you're still sitting there. So she has to like wake herself up to be present. She's just a mess and a half. So I started her Instagram mainly because I was like, she's so cute. I can't handle it. And other people need this.
Yeah.
And it really,
I need it.
Exactly. And it's one of those things that, she totally took off because she is that cute and she is that funny. But I think that's what people are searching for, is joy. And you totally see that in her. We actually got her, she came home in May and had like 1 year before, she was almost a year, actually a little over a year, when my mom passed. And she just became in a season of like such intense darkness and grief and loss. She just is everything. I mean, just so joyful and sweet and so much energy. And she's really been such a gift. It's funny, we got her, and they named the litter like the celebration litter. So they wanted all of the puppies to have like a registered name that was more like with the title celebration versus their like family name. And we named her Resurrection Sunday because we just believed that she was just going to bring like hope and new life to our family just in a time of hardship. So she's really been that. She's such a gift.
That's amazing. Little Miss Annie B. Okay, that is quite the name.
It really is.
Quickly, can you tell me the beauty behind that?
Yeah, so our family really loves, I mean, we took forever to decide on a name, and we actually decided, I think over Christmas dinner, we just were throwing out all these different names. And our last name is Bolene. So we loved the like Annie B, like it just sounded cute. And when we first picked her up, she was, I mean, so tiny, definitely the runt of the litter. That didn't stop her personality more than anything. So we just kept calling her Little Miss Annie B, and it just I think I just picked up the name, and it is much longer. But the other thing is there are so many dog accounts out there, you got to get a little creative. But it's really stuck. I mean, she has 1,000 nicknames since, but that's really the one that sticks. And
I love that. I mean, it's adorable, and I was like, that is quite the name. But you literally say that every single time, Little Miss Annie B, or do you call like B Annie Little Miss? What does she hear?
Oh my gosh, I can't even tell you how many she hears. I say Annie B a lot.
Okay.
We'll just call her Annie B, Annie B. Or Miss Annie. We call her Miss Annie a lot
Okay.
because she's kind of a priss and just funny. Crosses her
It depends
paws
on the mood.
sometimes.
Yeah, like I
Oh,
call my kids different things
absolutely.
depending on the mood they're in.
100%. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
because she has so many other names. Like I mean, she can be super mischievous. We used to call her the Houdini, because she could get out of anything. So we did a lot of nicknames with that, like Cutie Houdini or like Stinky Houdini, like so
Oh,
many things. So you
yeah.
just never really know, truly.
That's hilarious. Okay, don't tell my children ever, but I don't think they can hear me or I would ruin their lives. And if there are children on this, get off. Leland today in the car was like, Mom, did you know that you can have Santa for a pet? I was like, no, you can't. Mm-mm.
It's against the rules.
I don't
I
know.
was like, oh, my mom definitely thought like something was truly wrong in my soul because I asked for a puppy for so long and would like cry myself to sleep. And she would come in my room to like console me. And she'd be like, I just need you to go to bed, like count sheep. And I was like, I'm gonna count golden retrievers. Like
You know?
so
We're
dramatic.
gonna break
So
you
sometimes, yeah,
listening.
exactly. Like
There's
sometimes,
gonna be a day and a time where I'm gonna be like, he sure does. But
yeah,
when you said that
exactly.
today, I almost hyperventilated.
No, no, no. Yeah. It's okay to hold it off for a little bit, for
I
sure.
mean, I grew up with pets. My Nick and I had pets,
Yeah.
but this is a story for another day. But girl, I laughed out loud when that happened. I was like, I don't know. I have to Santa
But
book.
you get to make the rules. So,
He doesn't know. Yeah.
yeah. It's true. Maybe his policies will change in a few years.
Like
You never
I
know.
think Santa, COVID. It's not Santa.
Yeah.
Not Santa. Not Santa.
So true. You can always blame it on that these days. Absolutely.
Exactly. I have so enjoyed our conversation.
Me too,
I do
Laura.
want to be
Thank you.
respectful. I just love the fact that we still have people like listening on, even though our conversation went longer than intended, because it's just so rich, full of like, hey, this is what Jesus has done in my life. This is why he's real. And this is how we can love others. Just like quick
Yeah.
prayers, quick, like listening to others and being intentional. I love how you explained prayer as an action, not reaction. Like
Yeah.
ahead of time, have that intimacy with God ahead of a trauma or ahead of like the dire need, because he's always there. I just love it.
Exactly. And I think it's just we are really I'm so guilty of it. I mean, even so now, like, oh
Me
my
too.
gosh, I'll be praying for you. Like, yeah, I'll pray for you. But it is one thing too that I think when we are so intentional, even in that moment, like we said, even with just a few words, like barely even a sentence, it also comes back in our memory more because we've already like taken the action of
Mhm.
praying. So it doesn't fall on that to-do list. Instead, it just becomes an action.
Yeah.
I'm going to pray right now. And
Awesome.
it comes back. Yeah.
Yeah, I do that too. And I actually have to have like this reminder of keep the conversation open. Keep the like back and forth open to God. God, what do you want to do right now? What do you want to do this
Yeah.
next minutes? Like my kids are kind of chill. Should I do this? Should I do this? And I have this back and forth conversation like, no, I really don't want to do laundry. And he's like, but Laura, like it seems minute and it seems like meticulous as a like homeschooling mom to ask God every 5 minutes, like, what was I doing? What should I be doing? Because I
Yeah.
need him to that tediously manage my time and energy because I only have so much of it and I really want to be wise. So
Yeah.
keeping the constant communication is a wonderful, wonderful piece of advice. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my
Love
gosh,
it.
yes.
All right. Well, hey guys, I am just seeing so many of my friends. I was so excited. I think I waved at every single person, and I'm not trying to like awkwardly touch the screen. Hopefully, you can't see that in my video. But
Oh, it's fine.
this,
I mean, apparently my Wi-Fi just decided, not to work or
hey, we
anything.
got
So
back. We got it back.
we'll figure it out. Yeah.
Yeah. So this IGTV is going to be on my Instagram forever, but I'm also going to transcribe this and put it on my blog so people can read it. You can share it with others. You guys go follow Ellie if you don't already. Follow her dog. You will love what she's sharing and just the real life fun. She's so fun. And I would love to have happy hour and watch a sunset with you one day.
I mean, we're both in Florida, so we just got to figure out a time and a place and we'll make it happen.
Right? It's so silly that we haven't done that yet. Me, you,
know.
and Desiree. Desiree's in Florida too.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
It's
I think
must.
she's on. Hey, girl. Hey, girl. Hey. She's on that happy hour right now because she is preggers.
Yeah, true.
Awesome. Well, all right. Well, I don't want to keep you any longer. You're amazing. I love you to pieces.
Love
and
you.
We'll chat soon.
Yes.
Okay. Bye. Bye, everybody. Thank you for joining on. How do I get out? Now it's a problem. Okay. Thank you guys. Bye.